Have you ever wondered why the same words that deeply hurt you seem to have absolutely no effect on someone else? Why does one person stay calm, grounded, and composed, while another loses emotional control over the smallest comment? Why do some people appear emotionally unshakable, almost untouchable from the outside, while others feel disturbed, anxious, restless, or emotionally heavy for days after a single interaction? And here is a more uncomfortable question most people never ask themselves. Why do certain people seem to have the power to ruin your mood, your peace, even your entire day, while others don't affect you at all? If emotions truly came from external situations, from other people's words or actions, then shouldn't everyone react the same way to the same events? But they don't. Two people can hear the same sentence. One shrugs it off. The other carries it in their mind for hours, replaying it again and again. So what is really happening inside the mind when you feel bothered, triggered, disrespected, or emotionally shaken? And most importantly, is it actually possible to reach a point where nothing and no one can emotionally disturb your inner peace, without becoming cold, detached, emotionally numb, or disconnected from life and relationships? Stay with me till the end of this video, because there is one core psychological and spiritual truth that explains everything about emotional triggers. And once you truly understand this truth, not just intellectually but deeply, you will never experience emotions, people, or situations the same way again. Most people grow up believing a lie, not because someone intentionally taught it to them, but because it was absorbed silently through experience. The lie is this: other people make me feel angry. They made me feel insecure. They hurt me. They ruined my mood. They triggered me. From childhood, we are conditioned to believe that our emotional states are caused by what happens outside of us. If someone praises us, we feel good. If someone criticizes us, we feel bad. If someone ignores us, we feel rejected. Over time, this belief becomes so automatic that we stop questioning it. But if this belief were true, emotions would be automatic and universal. If criticism caused anger, everyone would feel angry when criticized. If rejection caused sadness, everyone would feel sad when rejected. But real life proves this is not how emotions work. Some people receive criticism and grow. Others collapse internally. Some feel motivated. Others feel ashamed. So the truth is far deeper. No one has direct access to your emotional system. No one can enter your inner world and place an emotion inside you. What they touch is your interpretation. An interpretation is shaped by your past experiences, your childhood environment, your emotional wounds, your beliefs about yourself, your sense of worth and safety. You do not react to what happened. You react to what it means to you. Psychologically, this is one of the most important things to understand. Your brain does not seek happiness. It seeks safety. Your nervous system is not designed to make you peaceful. It is designed to protect you. The emotional part of your brain reacts before logic has a chance to speak. When something feels threatening to your sense of identity, belonging, or worth, the nervous system activates instantly. This activation happens in milliseconds. Before you think, before you reason, before you choose. Heart rate increases. Muscles tighten. Breathing becomes shallow. Attention narrows. And here is the key part. This reaction happens even if there is no real danger. Your body cannot distinguish between a physical threat, an emotional threat, or an imagined threat. To your nervous system, they all feel real. That is why words can hurt as much as actions. That is why a sentence can linger longer than an event. That is why a look, a tone, or silence can feel unbearable. Your body is responding as if your survival is at stake. Now let's understand why certain people trigger you more than others. You are not reacting to the person in front of you. You are reacting to what they symbolize to your unconscious mind. Authority figures may activate childhood wounds of criticism, pressure, or control. Romantic partners may activate abandonment fears or fear of not being chosen. Friends may activate comparison, jealousy, or feelings of inadequacy. Strangers may activate ego sensitivity or the need to be respected. This is why the same behavior from different people feels completely different. The trigger is not random. It is precise. It points directly to something unresolved within you. This does not mean something is wrong with you. It means your psyche is trying to communicate with you. Your emotional reaction is information. Attachment styles play a huge role in emotional reactivity. If you have an anxious attachment style, emotional reactions are often driven by fear of loss. Silence feels threatening. Distance feels personal. Uncertainty feels unbearable. If you have an avoidant attachment style, emotional reactions are often driven by fear of engulfment or control. Closeness feels suffocating. Emotional demands feel overwhelming. Dependence feels dangerous. If you have a disorganized attachment style, emotions can swing between extremes. Wanting closeness one moment, wanting distance the next. These patterns were learned early in life, long before logic, long before awareness, long before conscious choice. That is why telling yourself to calm down rarely works. You cannot outthink a conditioned nervous system. You must understand it, regulate it, and slowly retrain it. Anger is one of the most misunderstood emotions. Most people think anger is the problem. But in most cases, anger is not the real emotion. It is a secondary emotion. Anger is a protector. It protects something much softer underneath. Often it protects shame, fear, sadness, helplessness, rejection. Anger feels powerful. Vulnerability feels dangerous. So the mind chooses anger as armor. When you understand this, you stop judging yourself for feeling angry. You stop fighting the emotion. Instead, you begin to listen. And when emotions are listened to, they soften. Emotionally, mature people do not suppress emotions. They decode them. They do not ask, "How do I stop feeling this?" They ask, "What is this emotion trying to tell me?" Instead of reacting impulsively, they ask, "What exactly am I feeling? What meaning did I assign to this situation? What am I afraid this says about me?" This simple inquiry moves the brain from survival mode into awareness. And awareness calms the nervous system. Clarity reduces intensity. The pause is one of the most underrated skills in emotional mastery. The pause is not silence. It is space. Space between stimulus and response. When you pause, you interrupt the automatic emotional loop. You allow your nervous system to settle. You give yourself choice. Without pause, reaction is inevitable. With pause, response becomes possible. This is the difference between emotional chaos and emotional sovereignty. Psychology explains how emotions work. Spirituality explains why suffering continues. All spiritual traditions converge on one truth. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. Suffering does not come from emotions. It comes from attachment. Attachment to being respected. Attachment to being chosen. Attachment to being validated. Attachment to being understood. The moment your peace depends on someone else's behavior, you lose inner sovereignty. Detachment is often misunderstood. Detachment does not mean you stop caring. It does not mean you become cold, distant, or indifferent. Detachment means you stop clinging. You still feel. You still love. You still communicate. You still set boundaries. But your emotional center no longer lives outside of you. Your peace is no longer rented out to external circumstances. The witness state is one of the most powerful shifts you can make. When you move from, I am angry, to, I notice anger arising, you step out of identification. You are no longer the emotion. You are the awareness observing it. This single shift dissolves emotional intensity because emotions feed on identification. When you observe without merging, emotions pass naturally. Triggers are not enemies. They are teachers. Every trigger reveals an unconscious attachment. Instead of asking, why did they do this to me? Ask, what inside me is still seeking external permission to feel whole? Triggers do not come to punish you. They come to wake you up. Much of your emotional pain belongs to an earlier version of you. A version that learned love was conditional. A version that learned safety depended on approval. A version that learned silence meant abandonment. Healing begins when you stop abandoning yourself emotionally. When you meet your reactions with compassion instead of judgment, integration begins. Non-attachment to outcomes is true power. You can still express boundaries. You can still communicate clearly. You can still walk away. But you release emotional dependence on how others respond. You stop tying your inner stability to external outcomes. Daily emotional sovereignty is built through practice. Observe reactions without judgment. Name emotions accurately. Question the belief underneath. Return to the body. Return to breath. Return to awareness. Consistency rewires the nervous system. Now let's answer the question we started with. Is it possible to reach a point where nothing and no one can emotionally disturb your inner peace? Yes, but not by controlling others. Not by suppressing emotions. Not by pretending you don't care. You become unbothered when you stop outsourcing your self-worth, safety, and identity to the external world. When nothing outside you is responsible for validating who you are, emotional freedom becomes natural. You don't become cold. You become grounded. You don't become detached from life. You become anchored within yourself. If this video resonated with you, it means your mind is already moving toward emotional maturity and inner freedom. On this channel, we explore psychology, emotional intelligence, spiritual growth, and inner healing in a grounded, real, and practical way. If you want more videos like this, deeper insights and tools that help you master your emotions instead of being controlled by them, make sure to subscribe. Because emotional freedom is not something you find. It's something you build from within.